And so when you look at So I was saying, when you look at, all of these circumstances, you then begin to ask yourself, you then begin to wonder, maybe these politicians might want to play outside of the political party system. Interesting. And that's why we want to look at the validity, should I call it that, or should I say the implication of this bill being transmitted, or that the Senate is looking to transmit to the president. And I've got my guest. He's the one who's making me sound distracted. I've got my guest. He just walked into the studio. Apparently, the flyovers did not help his situation. And that's one conversation we had earlier in the day. Welcome. I've got Marcus Ijioma, who is a media consultant and a public affairs analyst. Good evening to you.
Kala, good evening.
Tell me, what happened around the flyover that got you stuck?
Well, from Rumola,
yeah,
the roads are already narrow.
Okay,
but you have these guys, taxi drivers, and all kinds of people loading just at the tip of the roundabout.
We've seen in almost all the other flyovers.
Yes, and then you get to the new one that the president-elect commissioned, and then there are two sessions or two traffic lights that you have to beat, each of them 100 and something seconds rather. And you cross the first one, the second one traps you in the middle. I don't know who said that time actually. And then you turn around, it's something else, all the way to NTA. Now there's no U-turn from location to NTA, so everybody's turning in front of NTA and it's building up another traffic all the way down towards location junction again.
Interesting. And the flyover, okay, you know what? We're done with that conversation. but before you stepped in, I was just giving the background to our conversation. And I was saying, some of these lawmakers, the senators, may not be coming back. And
it's confirmed. They are not coming. Most of them,
you never would know if they win the next election.
Okay. No, they even tribunal, yeah? Let's go.
Then some are looking at the crisis in their party. I just used Julius Abure and Lamidi Apapa as an example. And of course, the chaos in APC, where it's going to be the South Side. No, it's not the South Side, it's the
Southeast.
All of that. So a lot of people are now, I feel, these senators are already plotting for 2027. And they're saying, you know what? We need to set the mood to give us an opportunity. But am I wrong? What do you think about independent candidacy? Let's start from there.
I've always been an advocate of independent candidacy. I've said that many times. Ever since the Ways Committee, the former Chief Justice, Ways Committee set up by late Moro Mushara Yar'Adua, submitted their recommendation. The independent candidate thing was one of that.
I remember.
Component of the committee report. For whatever reason, successive administrations have refused to implement it. And so it's a welcome development. It's better late than never. But I'm not as excited as I used to be about it anyway.
Well, why are you not as excited?
Yes, because just like I said during the Not Too Young to Run, we have not too young to run, but we are too poor to run. So you have forms going for 100 million, 50 million to be governor and to be president in some political parties. And so you now, if you're looking at the independent candidacy now, you will see that there's another twist to it, which is if the candidate is independent, are the voters going to be independent? So these are issues that Nigerians need to worry about, because the whole idea of independent candidacy is to allow people who are popular, who can deliver, but do not have the financial muscle to go through party primaries and all of the cost that comes with consultations and political campaigns, to go on the strength of their popularity and the fact and their credibility to the people to ask for votes. But in a situation where people are no longer sure whether votes count or not. It comes with a huge question mark. But I think this National Assembly, they are a bit in a hurry. They have less than a month. By 10th June,
10 June.
We should have a new National Assembly. So I don't know how they are going to give it accelerated hearing and get the president to assent to it before they leave.
But then let's leave your worries aside now. What are the merits and what are the disadvantages of an independent candidacy? Let's tackle that question.
Okay, let me start with the disadvantage.
Okay.
The disadvantage is that because these candidates are not owned by any political party, they become too independent in their thinking. So you don't have the luxury of party manifesto or party agenda.
Okay.
What the party stands for, party ideology as it is in developed clients. But the advantages are also very many. One of them is the fact that first, it reduces the cost of contest by almost, I don't know, you will soon ask me what's the source of my data, but the point is, it will reduce.
Is that facts? So you have to give me facts.
It's going to heavily reduce the cost of campaigns, of participating in the electoral process, especially as a candidate. Because if you look at, let me share my experience, for instance. Leading up to the 2023 election, I wanted to run for office, and then of course not too young to run. I was perfect for the age range, and then I approached a political party. Looking at the cost, before the APC price went up, the price for presidential nomination form was somewhere around 5 million, which was doable. If I talked to a few family and friends, I could have been able to do that. But the moment APC released 100 million and PDP raised to 50 million, they too jacked up to 25. So, if I was an independent candidate, I don't need to go through that. With 25 million, I would have been able to go very far with my campaign without necessarily passing through the hurdle. And don't forget, this is just primaries. Buying form to qualify for screening and primaries. So, it reduces the costs of running for office drastically and then give people opportunity to choose whoever they like, irrespective of political parties.
All right, I want to pause you because we've got a commercial break right now. After that, you would continue. Just hold those thoughts of yours, please.
No problem.